I just want to check the stream real quick. Just bear with me here. Oh yeah, we are up and running. All right, all right. All right, all right. Shalom, shalom. First off, give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakar Kadash, giving double honors to the apostles and the order of the GMS who taught me this truth. Salutes and honors to the elect brothers across the four corners who are enduring in both truth and in sincerity, of the men and women who follow. This is Brother Kratazah from the Fountain of the Living Waters, coming back at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai. We're going live today, and this lesson is entitled Can't Run, Can't Hide from World War III. All right. Everyone in the world is going to be affected by this world war. All right. And the linchpin is being set off right now with, as you can see on the screen, this Iraq, Israel, U.S., I said Iraq, excuse me, Iran, Israel, U.S. war. All right. And this little area right here, I call the Strait of Hormuz, this is what's doing all the heavy lifting. All right. So Lord's word is edifying. And, over the past few days, it's been a really big topic. And, you had to be under a rock if you ain't heard about it. But a lot of people have heard about it, but don't really know about it, don't really know what's going on. So Lord's will, you're edified with this video. Let's get a this is a visual. So typically this is what the strait would look like, as a visual. But what Iran did, they shut this down. Nobody can come through here. So on the map, you can see that, it's open up pretty much here and over here, but it's a chokehold right here, right? When you're going on that corner or bending that turn, right? So let's look at what a normal day would look like.
This is the Strait of Hormuz. Around 20% of the world's oil and gas supplies pass through here. Since the US and Israel attacked Iran on the 28th of February, that's not been the case, and millions of barrels of oil are stuck. That means many countries around the world have a problem. How to get their hands on the oil their economies depend on. There's fears of an energy crisis in India. It's estimated that it has supplies left for only 25 days. India imports almost half of its oil through the Strait of Hormuz. So now the US has eased sanctions, allowing India to buy Russian oil stranded at sea. South Korea gets almost 70.
Right, so it's a lot to unpack in this little video. We're going to talk about all of this, so we're going to put a pin in that and just go back to the beginning, because, like I said, matter of fact, just bear with me. It's a lot of links. I know y'all see them. Let's talk about the oil in general, all right? Because a lot of these numbers are just numbers. What does it really mean? So let's quantify how much oil is really needed. All right, how many gallons of oil do we use a day in the U.S.? All right, the United States consumes approximately 20 to 21 million barrels of petroleum per day, which roughly equates to 840 to 880 million gallons per day. All right, 880 million gallons a day with all the cars, planes, trains, everything uses, petrol. So, that's damn near a trillion, damn near a trillion, almost a trillion. In 2 days, it's a trillion. In 2 days, you've used over a trillion gallons of gas. Just to let you know how much gas we use and how much gas is still out there. You know, you, but that's a argument for a whole nother topic. But oh yeah. But where does the gas in the United States come from? Right, most of ours comes from Canada, here in the U.S. and Mexico, and we get a small amount from Saudi Arabia, which would come through the Strait of Hormuz, right? In order for Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Syria, all these places to export their oil, it will have to come through here. This is where all the ports are, because you can just say, well, how come they can't just come over here and send it over here, right? Because there are no ports on this side of Saudi Arabia. All the ports are over here on this side. This all desert. So you have to unload it where a port is. Let me see. You got these. Matter of fact, let me pull the phone up because I gotta monitor just in case somebody says something live. I gotta be able to see it. Just bear with me. All right. So, here we go. They got them in these shipping containers. All the barrels are in those shipping containers. So imagine millions and millions and millions of those every day. Coming through, but they're on the actual ships in the port. So if there's no port, then you can't drop them off there. You can't pick them up there. So that's why this strait is so vital. And over the past couple of days, they had some drone attacks that hit 3 ships. So I don't want to get a strike or get anything like that, but you can kind of see. Let me see if I can.
We start tonight.
Yeah, so you can see Iran said nothing's coming through. You're not coming through unless I tell you come through. And somebody said, well, I think we should just come through. What you going to do about it? And Iran showed you what they're going to do about it. This is what they're going to do about it. All right. Now, they didn't say that they had mines in the Strait of Hormuz, but they got those drones. And the thing about the drones, they're small. You can't really see them on radar. You can't just shoot at them or do whatever. They're gonna come and they're gonna do this to you, and there's nothing you're gonna do about it. Okay, and they're using this as a method to really the whole world is on hostage now because of what the U.S. and Israel did, and they're making demands. All right. So, matter of fact, bear with me here. I wanted to do this live because I knew that it's a lot of stuff that I had, but I didn't really know how to organize it. So, I just said, hey, I'll just go live with it and bring it all out, organically. So
11:47 p.m. last night, Mojtaba Khamenei addressed the Iranian people for 12 minutes, but he was not speaking to the Iranian people. Every word was aimed directly at Washington. For the first 6 minutes, he recited a list of what he called American crimes: the assassination of his father, the killing of Iranian scientists, the decades of sanctions, the support for Israel, the occupation of Arab lands by American forces. It was standard rhetoric. Then, at the 7-minute mark, his tone shifted. He stopped talking about the past and started talking about the future. He laid out 3 demands. The full text of these demands was transmitted to the State Department through Switzerland. Most major networks reported that Iran called for American withdrawal from the Middle East. That is accurate but incomplete. What they did not report is the specific language Khamenei used and the exact timeline he gave. Demand 1. All American military forces must begin withdrawal from Iraq, Syria, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia within 30 days, not eventually, not after negotiations, within 30 days. Demand 2. The United States must lift every sanction imposed on Iran since 1979, including all banking restrictions, all oil export limitations, and all technology transfer bans within 60 days. Demand 3. The United States must pay reparations to Iran for what Khamenei called the economic war that has cost Iran over $800 billion in lost revenue over the past 4 decades. He set the figure at $500 billion to be paid over 10 years. Then came the part that has the Pentagon in crisis mode. Khamenei said if these demands are not met, Iran will take 3 specific actions. Action 1. Iran will close the Strait of Hormuz to all commercial shipping effective immediately upon the expiration of the 30-day deadline. Action 2. Iran will activate what he called defensive military partnerships with Russia and China, including the possibility of foreign military bases on Iranian soil. Action 3. Iran will exercise its right under international law to develop and deploy a full-spectrum nuclear deterrent capability. He did not say Iran would pursue a nuclear weapon. He said Iran would deploy one. That language matters. It suggests they already have it. While Khamenei was delivering this address, something else was happening. Chinese state media released a statement at exactly 1:15 a.m. Eastern Time, 90 minutes after Khamenei finished speaking. The statement said China recognizes Iran's legitimate security concerns and supports Iran's right to defend itself against foreign aggression. It called for immediate negotiations based on respect for Iranian sovereignty. Russia issued a similar statement 40 minutes later. Both countries used language that essentially endorsed Iran's position. Why did Iran do this? Follow the power. Mojtaba Khamenei is not his father. Ali Khamenei spent decades balancing different factions inside Iran. He negotiated. He compromised. He played a long game. Mojtaba does not have that luxury. He was installed by the military. The IRGC put him in power. They expect him to deliver results. Sources inside Iranian opposition groups say Mojtaba and the IRGC leadership had a meeting within hours of his appointment. The message was clear. We made you supreme leader. You will give us what we want. What they want is the complete removal of American influence from the region, the economic resources to rebuild Iran's military, and the international legitimacy that comes from forcing the United States to negotiate as an equal. This shifts power from Washington to Tehran in a way that has not happened since 1979. For 4 decades, the United States has dictated terms to Iran. Sanctions, pressure, isolation, military threats. Iran had no leverage. Now they have leverage. 7 American soldiers dead. Oil at $121. A leaked Pentagon document saying the war is unwinnable. China and Russia openly backing Iran's position. The Strait of Hormuz as a loaded gun pointed at the global economy. Mojtaba Khamenei is not begging for negotiations. He is demanding surrender. What historians will call this moment depends entirely on what happens next 72 hours. If the United States accepts negotiations on Iran's terms, it will be remembered as the end of American dominance in the Middle East. If the United States rejects negotiations and the war continues, it will be remembered as the beginning of an unwinnable conflict that drained American resources and credibility for years. This is not a minor foreign policy challenge.
No, this is it. This is the end. All right, it's here. All right, the scripture says, let's grab that real quick. Revelation chapter 9 and 12. It says, one woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. Salakia. There come 2 woes more hereafter. All right. We know the Second World War already came. And this is that third world war, man. This is why it's getting hot. All right. And Trump, like a fucking idiot. Let's get into it. Right. So you hear Iran is not playing games. All right. They're right. They're drawing a line. They're drawing a line in the sand, and they're saying, "Look, you're going to do X, Y, and Z, or we better really pop it off. We're going to get Russia. We're going to get China. They're going to have Russian Chinese bases in Iran. Do something about it. Put boots on the ground. Do something about it. They'll deploy a nuclear weapon. This is the speech that we've been hearing, that we've been waiting on. Hey, like this brother right here says, this could be the year, Akim, because they're not playing anymore. Games, the time for games is over. This new guy, Mustafa, the son of the leader who was just assassinated, he's ready to go. And guess what? So now the whole world is in a chokehold due to this situation. So we don't need this anymore. Let's get rid of that. Asia. Asia is getting the majority of their oil through the Strait of Hormuz, through Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Syria, so on and so forth. The Kuwait, the UAE, all these little countries right here, all push oil, and they have to use this strait to get out of it. But that supply goes to India, which is right next door. India, China, Southeast Asia, Indonesia, all these countries over here, Japan, Korea, South Korea, they're starving. All right. They they need some oil bad. I'm gonna show you how bad. 4-day work weeks, right? Asia rolls out 4-day weeks and work from home to solve the fuel crisis. Right. So you see multiple articles with this. And you can look it up for yourself and get more money, or get more more information about it if you would like. But yeah, it's an energy crisis going on around the world. India is being hit hard, as they were saying in the video. Let's see. Yeah, India. The Strait of Hormuz is vital to India's energy security, as it facilitates roughly 40% of its crude oil imports. Amidst rising 2026 tensions, India has engaged in urgent diplomatic talks with Iran to ensure safe passage for its tankers, as disruptions directly threaten oil supplies, drive up prices, and affect over 10 million Indian citizens in the region. So I believe in the video they said they got like 25 more days worth of oil. So they're making deals, and Iran, they playing it how it's supposed to be played, because an asshole would say, no, you can't get no oil. But what they're doing, I thought I had it. Okay, yeah, here we go. It's from the India Times, dated from today. Yeah, March 12th. Nope, from yesterday, Slovakia. Says India gets safe passage amid attacks on tankers. So right, the tankers just got attacked. So India said, we're not gonna just slide through. Let's talk to Iran. And Iran said, okay, we'll talk, and we'll let you slide through. But any country that's working with America, that's working with Israel, you're not getting through. You think you're getting through, buddy? Come through if you want. Try it. Look what happened to the last 3 guys that tried it. Iran is not playing these games no more. All right. as the scripture says, let's get it real quick. This is Joel 3 and 10. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And that's what Kamini was saying, you know, that Iran is strong. U.S., you're going to get your ass out of the Middle East, all right? Or we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. No, it's not going to work. The U.S. is not going to back down, but that's the beautiful part of it, that they're not going to back down. Matter of fact, I got a preset for that. This is Obadiah chapter 1 verse 4. It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. Right? Because the so-called white man is very high-minded. Okay? And the Lord's going to humble him. And this is how the Lord is going to humble him. Right? This is just one way how the Lord is going to humble him. All right? And not only that, in order to relieve some tension, so to speak, around the world, Donald Trump is basically doing a deal with the devil. You know, we just mentioned, and everybody knows that Iran, China, and Russia are conglomerate. Hell, they got the BRICS currency. But what did the U.S. do? U.S. easing of Russia oil sanctions draws criticism. So there are floating. I wish I should have had that. Let me see. Hold on. There we go. Just so you get a visual. You know, you have these big barges with these containers with crude oil just sitting out in the middle of the ocean that Russia owns, full of oil, right? And what the U.S. is doing, the U.S. is now allowing people to buy that oil because it's not in the strait, in order to help ease the drought that's being created, which is putting money in the pockets of Russia, strengthening them against the Ukraine, and strengthening them against Europe, who are all American allies. So, like, they're winning this war from both sides. So, and you can imagine that Europe doesn't like that. Ukraine EU allies slam U.S. decision to roll back Russian oil sanctions. Trump is wrong. Europeans slam U.S. decision to ease Russia oil sanctions. Right? They're just strengthening Russia. That's all they're doing. But hey, this is the beauty of it. Like I said, everybody in this world is affected. You know. Let me see. Iran sends millions of oil barrels to China. Yeah, China needed oil as well because China, let me see, China actually produces like the fifth most oil in the world. However, they have 1 billion people. So whatever they're producing is not going to be enough for 1 billion people. So guess where they get their oil from? They're getting it from Iran. Or they're getting it from Saudi Arabia. They're getting it from this area right here. But with Iran being a close ally, you know, I'm pretty sure they have a unilateral deal. But China's talking to them about, hey, did they on that India plan? If I can find here we go. Iran sends millions of oil barrels to China through the Strait of Hormuz, even as war chokes the waterway. Right? We'll send our own oil, you know, to an ally. So that's really what it is. It's the have and the have-nots. If everybody's gonna play their part, everyone's gonna feel this thing, man. Whether you working everyday working guy in the Philippines, whether you're a rich guy in Europe, or some Joe Sixpack cracker in Tennessee, who knows? Everyone's gonna feel the effects in different ways and in different times and for different reasons, right? And this is just the economic effect. Now, you have sleeper cells, you have uh, cyber attacks. This could drag out. So, I believe Kamini said he had 30 days. So within the next month or so, we're gonna really see the lasting effects, and this picture is gonna get clearer and clearer and clearer. Um, the situation that we in. I'll tell you this: we're at the end. That's where we're at. You know, backing up a bit, I got a scripture, Revelation 17:16 says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and eat her flesh, and burn her with fire." Right now, that's going back to speaking about damn, that's probably the EU being angry and at America for loosening the oil sanctions on Russia. I'll read it again. It says that it says Revelation 17:16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. Right? So that's talking about the EU turning their back on America. Right? This could be one of those straws that are helping to break the camel's back of America's allies turning on her. Right? We know what it says in Obadiah 1:7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. Right? So there's going to be a conflict amongst friends, amongst friendly nations, for lack of a better term. It says, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There's no understanding in them. So, and then, hey, what does the scripture say? All these that have been to both shoot at them, spare no arrow. So you can see, if you know the prophecies and you know what to look for, you can see them, man. You can see them coming right down the path, or right down the path to coming to pass. So, Lord's will, this was edifying. With that being said, I give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yah. Wait, one second. I'm sorry, I forgot this scripture. We're gonna close it on this. This is 2 Ezra 9:5. It says, "For like as all is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." And this end is being made manifest, is being brought together, right in front of our eyes. We can see it, man. We can smell it. We can taste it. Just keep enduring, keep fighting, keep pushing this word, keep pushing this truth. And with that being said, give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakar Kadash, giving double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS who taught me this truth. Salutes and honors to the elect brothers across the four corners who are enduring in both truth and in sincerity, all the men and women who follow. Shalom.